So again, I am Brendan Bartik with Brendan Bartik Real Estate Coaching, where our mission is to train the most elite real estate agents and coaches on earth. Today, we're going to be going through the expired listing process from zero to hero, how to make sure you understand why you need to be adding this to your business, how to jump in if you've never made an expired call, or if you're a seasoned expired hunter. We're going to cover all of those things today. If you are new to the Zoom, I started out as a real estate assistant almost 20 years ago. Worked as an agent or an assistant for about 2 years. Became an agent on my mentor's team. Then I was an agent on her team for about 2 years-ish, and then went out on my own. Started my own real estate team. Sold over $1 billion of residential real estate. Now I own, one of the most successful real estate teams in Colorado, also the real estate brokerage, and I have this amazing opportunity to train and teach and help others to show them how to do it. So I should be a good resource. I know pretty much almost, at least I think anyway, almost every facet of the real estate game, and I've seen it from all different angles. So if you have any questions, whether expired or not, make sure you ask. This is a time to kind of, if you're thinking it, someone else on the call is thinking it too, or on the Zoom is thinking it as well. So don't be bashful. It's better to learn now than out in the field. All right. So that's what we're here to do. So, all right, we're going to jump in. So let's get right into expireds and how to be an expired hero. So when we look at it, there's really 6 simple steps that we're going to break down to being a hero when it comes to expired listings. And when we look at that, step 1 is we have to recognize the opportunity, because when we look at this and we look at basic raw numbers, all right? And if we're just talking raw numbers, so for those that don't know, let me back it up even further. So some of you are like, I'm new to real estate. I'm not even quite sure I understand what an expired listing is, but people have told me that I need to be focused on them. So an expired listing is when another agent from any firm had a listing agreement with a seller to list their home over a specific period of time. So they have a listing agreement for either 30 days, 60 days, 6 months. Sometimes I've seen listing agreements up to 3 years, depending upon property type. It could be a luxury property, it could be a farm, it could be something that takes on average a lot longer to sell. So that an agent had that previous agreement. And then during that agreement, they were not able to get the property sold with that seller. And when it expired, that contract date ended, it notifies the MLS. And when the MLS lets us know that that contract expired, then it comes up on a number of different websites that I'll give you today, and that pulls information and phone numbers. It notifies all of us, and we have that opportunity to connect with that seller to explain to them why you're the hero and they should have listed with you from the start, and you're going to help them get to the finish line. So that's the whole expired universe. And you really have to make sure that they do understand that you're a hero. And we're going to talk about some things to do to earn that trust and build that instant rapport very quickly. But when we talk about the opportunity, let's break down some numbers. All right. When we're looking at the listing game here in just the Front Range of Colorado, meaning the Denver Front Range. Now, I know we have people on here from Michigan, from Florida, from New York. It depends on your local area, but I can only speak to this area and tell you, on average, there's about 30 to 35 expired listing opportunities every single day that come off of the market. And that's in one of the greatest markets and most competitive markets in the history of this area. And there's still that many every day. So imagine when the market turns, or in other areas that aren't seeing that type of growth. And I'm going to talk about how to take advantage of some of these outer areas as well. But when you're looking at that, if average commission is just $10,000, right, per expired, we know that it's probably more like 15 in our area because average sales price is 500,000. So if you're saying about 30 a day, right, and you've got 30 months in a day, how many expireds do you have in a 1 month period? 30 a day, 30 days in a month. Anyone?
900.
900, right? 30 times 30 is 900. I just want to make sure everybody's agreeing with that, because some people don't know. You don't know. You guys don't know. All right. So if you think about that and then multiply that times just $10,000, right? That's $900,000 of GCI every single month. Okay. So that's how big that opportunity is. And if you're looking at that and you just want to sell 24 homes a year, 50 homes a year, right? You don't need to have that much to make this possible. Okay. Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of GCI, right? So when we look at that, first of all, think about the scale of the opportunity, okay? And it is massive. Then, well, here we go, right? In the Denver metro area, there's 11,964 in the last 12-month period, 997 a month, okay? 54% were detached single family, and 46% were attached single family, duplex, condo, whatever. All right. 997 a month. Right. So the power of 1%. So if we just took 50% of the expired listings are not saleable listings, and we just said, forget those, right? These are the crazy people, it backs up to a landfill, whatever, which is still sellable. I've sold plenty of those. But let's just say that 50% of them are just dumpster fires and you don't want to deal with them with crazy people, okay? If you listed the other 50% of that, so if you listed 1% of the 5,982, that's 60 additional listings per year. That's just 1% of half. If you just got 1%. So there's a lot of money here, and there's a lot of opportunity if you decide that you want to take advantage and be consistent in it. So that's the first piece. Now, step two, we've got to think about how we're going to leverage this, because if we want to be a hero with expireds, we're going to need some assistance, meaning some technology that's going to help us make sure that we can do this at the highest level. All right. So here's what the pros are doing. And you can see some of the companies here. I'm going to go through these each in a second. So when you look at what the pros are doing, and when we talk about those things, when we look at that, and when we look at truly leverage, which is the biggest word that we need to be focused on, what we're looking at is every single day, there's companies out there that have realized that if data is the most important thing on earth, and data is, then there's companies like the Red X, Mojo, Vulcan 7. Those are probably the top 3 tier that most high-level producers utilize. What they do is every single day, they have access to the MLS. They take the expired listings that come out of the MLS, they put them into their algorithm, and they try to hunt and find every phone number that matches up with that particular expired. Any data they can, previous owners, anything like this. Then they take that data and they sell it to us as the agent, okay? Mojo is about $150 a month. Red X is probably about $100. And there's different benefits to each one of these depending upon whether or not you're utilizing their dialer. And when we talk about a dialer, meaning a triple line dialer, that gives you the ability to call 3 phone numbers at once in succession. And when you're calling that amount of numbers, you can burn through a lot more of these expireds faster than you could if you were manually dialing. Now, it also gives you the opportunity to leave automated voice messages, has a lot of other bells and whistles, but its main intention is get you data and then give you the platform to call it as effectively as possible. And then the Red X, which is the one that I utilized for years to build my expired career, the Red X has a really user-friendly format that breaks down and shows you who went back on the market, who relisted, who's this, who's that. And it gives you different color matching codes and all of this. So you can organize this. If you're going to do it at a high level, this isn't something that you want to dip your toe in and be like, you know what, maybe I'll still try some expires today and see what happens. You know, I heard Brendan said I might make some money. It doesn't work that way. You'll waste your time. You'll be embarrassed. You won't really have a lot of success with it. What you want is an expired strategy. Okay? And we're going to talk about that full step strategy. But the first piece that you've got to do, or first piece that you need to have, is probably a technology platform. Well, Brendan, I'm brand new. I can't be spending $150 every month or $190 or any of this to do all of this. What can I do? Share or get some other agents in your office to split an account with you. And then you guys split on days on what days you're going to take advantage of the dialer or the data, right? So Susie, you take Monday, Tuesday, I'll take Wednesday, Thursday, and John, you take Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays as a free-for-all because we know nobody's going to wake up and do it anyway, okay? So now you just took something and reduced that cost by triple, or reduce that cost by a third. That's probably more sense, okay? Right? So there's always a way to get this sorted. Now, that's the technology aspect. Now, what I want everybody on this call to be crystal clear on is, if you want the minimum that you should be doing, and let me talk about the very minimum. Everyone on this call should go into your MLS and set up a search that shows you the expireds coming off the market every day, so they're automatically sent to your inbox. Whether you're going to call them or not, okay? I want to make sure you're clear on this, that you need to be notified as a real estate professional of the area that you cover, every property that comes off the market. Now, Anna, why do you think that might be important? Why would I want to know when properties come off the market?
Well, I think it's important, obviously, in this conversation of expired, but I think if you want to be a professional, you need to understand the inventory in your area at the highest level in case there's a buyer that you can help. How great would it be to be Johnny on the spot with that information?
Gosh, dead on, right? Right now, if you have an area that's limited inventory, wouldn't you want to know when something's come off of the market, especially if you have a buyer demand for it? The other alert that you're going to want to have turned on for your local area is withdrawals. Now, you're never going to call a withdrawn. Let me be very clear. If you call a withdrawn listing, that means a listing that has been taken off the market by an agent at the request of the seller. Usually this is because they're remodeling or they don't want to be bothered over the holidays. Joe just broke his ankle and he can't get out of the house for showings. Whatever it is, do not call withdrawals. A lot of agents, a lot of grimy agents that I know across the country call withdrawals and try to find out what's going on with the seller to see if they can try to snake in there. You will get in trouble. You will go in front of the board and you will get penalized. And I've watched it happen to people. But what you do want to know with withdrawals is, if I had a buyer need right now, I would go search withdrawals 2 years back to see if anybody came off the market or expired. I would call that agent and say, hey, does your seller still have any interest in selling? If I had the perfect buyer and we could make this work, could you reach out to him to see if we could connect? So all of you that are chasing down inventory out there and struggling, make sure you're looking at the expired and withdrawn market. It's a big pot of we just told you there's 11,000 homes that were a part of that process. Okay. All right. So now with the technology, organizing this for us every morning. Let's say that you wanted to not use the technology and you wanted to do it on the cheap, and that's totally fine. I understand. Or an expired, you got the alert in your neighborhood that you're farming or that you live in, and you got the alert from MLS that, hey, 123 Elm Street just came off the market. 123 Elm Street? That's 6 doors down from me. Oh my gosh, what should I do? All right. Well, if you're going to do this manually, you can go to truepeoplesearch.com, do a reverse address search. It's free, and it'll try to source the phone number for you for free. You can also do this for 411.com, yellowpages.com, reverse address. You type in the address, it'll try to source you with any free information it can. Okay. There's some sites that'll go even deeper that you pay $2 a search for. Is it worth your $2 to get the contact info of a potential seller? I certainly hope so. Right? So don't go cheap on data. That could be a $15,000 commission that you spent $2 on, if you're not wanting to pay a service to do it for you monthly. Okay. So now I pull that information because they're right down the street. I try to call up the seller. We're going to talk about scripts, dialogues, all of that. If I don't get a hold of them via phone, I'm going to walk down the street, or I'm going to drive, or wherever it is. I'm going to knock on the door and I'm going to say, oh my gosh, Anna, hey, Anna, it's Brendan with XYZ company. I was actually shocked this morning when I saw your property come off the market. And I'm just amazed because I know this area so well. I've got an inventory of buyers that are just waiting to purchase a home here. I'd love to talk to you about what happened and if you have any interest in selling. Okay? The more energy you bring to it, the more passion, the more conviction, the more excited they're going to be. Now they're either going to say one of two things. Yes, I'm interested in selling, or no, I'm not. If it's a no, 99% of the time that it's a no, I'm not interested in selling, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Okay? They might just not be ready to sell just now at this moment, but they still have massive interest in selling. It's just a matter of when. And you, in this role, are there to solve whatever the problem is that's blocking that ability. So the holidays, we're remodeling the kitchen. We have the kids home because of COVID and they can't go to school, so it's just too hard to show it. 99% of your world is going to be solving a problem to get them past that the other agent wasn't able to do. Okay? That's a big piece of this, is we have to solve the problem for the seller to be able to get them to move forward and be the hero in the situation. All right? So go ahead.
I got a question for you. So, do you have any strategies? So, obviously, you start getting into expired calls, you're going to experience hangups, maybe some abuse, right? Frustration from these people. Do you have any strategies for when they hang up? Do you text them? Do you email them regardless of the response? Or do you only work with the expireds that you get some type of connection with in that call?
Yeah, no, it's an excellent question. So remember, this is a game of consistency and it's a game of numbers. So when we talk about your strategy, it's not a one-pronged approach of just phone call. It's going to be phone, text, direct mail, and email campaign. Okay? All of those things combined is what creates the strategy. And I'm going to break down exactly what you should be doing to really play this at a high level. Now, if you're amazing on the phone and you just are like, I'm fire when I'm on the phone, a lot of people will just lean on that. And if they just did that alone, but did it consistently 5 days a week, 20 days out of the month, they're going to strike gold, because somebody's going to pick up the phone. They're going to connect with them and be like, oh my gosh, you expired. And we'll go through the script here in a second. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And they're going to get an appointment. They're going to get probably multiple appointments over the course of a month. Some of us may not be that amazing on the phone. So what do we rely on? Not yet anyway, because you're still practicing, right? But what do you rely on then? Well, then you need to make sure that you have a text, email, and direct mail game. So if you have their phone number, if you're sending that first text, think about what that text would be. Let's back up for a second and think about the psychology of the seller. So I was just on the market for 30, 60, 90, 6 months, whatever it might be. And I'm a little bit frustrated because I came off the market. I listed with my friend, my cousin, my uncle, the neighborhood expert. And a large percentage of the time with sellers, it's not because of the agent, it's because of the price. The previous price that they listed the property at was not where it needed to be for the market. Remember, the only two things that sell properties, price and time. That's it. That's the only two things. So what happened in that situation is that agent's contract wasn't long enough to give them enough time to sell it at the price that the seller wanted. And number two, the seller didn't have it at a price that was going to cause it to sell. I truly believe that a lot of times that is the fault of the agent, because the agent should have made them understand, should have educated them, like, make you understand your price sucks, right? Like should have educated them on the market. And what happens with most agents is you're excited, you go and, especially right now, because you're like, all I got to do is take a listing and it's going to sell. Not really, apparently not, because there's still lots of them coming off of the market. Because an agent went in there and they go, okay, great. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you want to list it for $700,000. The last one that closed down your street closed for $600,000. you know what? Makes no sense, but hey, let's go and try it. Let's go. And they take that listing $100,000 over reality. And then over time, they don't have the skill set to bring the seller back to reality, or the seller's so frustrated because they go, you told us that it was fine listing at 700, you goofball. Now you're telling me I need to drop it 100 grand? And there's not enough time to get down in price to get back to where market value was, and bloop, they come off the market. And who are they mad at? They're mad at the agent, not all the time. So here's a little, pro tip. A lot of times you'll call sellers and they won't know that they came off the market. They'll have no idea. A lot of times they have no idea they came off the market. Number two, they go, oh, really? That's so weird. Yeah, no, I love Susie. Yeah, she's doing great. Well, you've been on the market for 3 months, 6 months, and you didn't receive an offer. So what's been great about it? Oh, it's not her fault. It's COVID. Okay, right? And as we'll learn, some objection handlers here, there's ways to handle that conversation. All we're trying to do is set a little light bulb, right? We're doing Inception, right? That Leonardo DiCaprio movie. If I can just plant a little thought in your mind, that there's some doubt in there that Susie isn't phenomenal, then I have a chance. And that's all I'm trying to do, is make you realize that maybe I don't have the right representation. Maybe I do need to look at some other options. Okay? So when we're looking at this strategy, and I'm going to come back to the entire process here in a second, after we're done receiving the phone numbers, this is a game of follow-up and repetition. So what these companies also provide you with is a CRM, a management system of follow-up. Okay? Now, old expireds, as they build up over time, remember, 30-ish a day, they're coming off the market, depending upon your area, every day, every single day. Well, they start to build up. So you'll have old expireds for 3, 6 months, 12 months. You're going to call those every day as well. Not every day, not every single one of them, but you're going to call those. And these companies help provide you that technology to organize all of this. Okay? My strategy is 6 days in a row. On the 7th day, we rest, right? Then once a week for the rest of that expired's life, until they either relist or tell me to go F myself. One of those two is going to happen. Okay? I prefer the latter. Wait, no, I prefer the whatever one's not the bad one. That's the one I prefer. Okay? But that's the amount of dedication. 6 days in a row, once a week for life. That's why you need the dialers, because if you're going through 20 or 40 or 70 or 80 of these a week, manually dialing is not going to get you there. It will. I mean, back in the day when I was selling with a pager, right? We had 2 manual phones, and we would do 2 phones. You would call a number with one, hold it to your ear, call the other with the other. Once that one hit, you hang up. And for people that are still like, I don't get what a dialer does. What the dialer's doing, just so everybody understands if you're new to this, is it's calling the 3 phone numbers at once, right? So it calls 3 lines. If you're on the phone with somebody, you have a pre-recorded message that you leave. And when that second person picks up the phone, they go, hello. And you go, hello, hello, can you hear me? And it's a fake message acting like you have a bad connection. It hangs up on that person, keeps them in queue till you finish your conversation with the first person you're talking to. When you finish that conversation, it recalls that person, engages them, and then you get on the phone and start talking to them. That's what a dialer does, okay? So these 3 numbers, it's just queuing people up. It's like a finder going, who's going to answer? Now, are the days of dialing dying? That's what we'd say. The answer is yes. In my true opinion, the days of dialing for dollars is going to come to a very, very end. Maybe we probably got 2 to 3 years left of this. So when we look at these other resources via text, via door knocking, via email, right? We're going to be looking at those other strategies to make sure that we're employing them, because that's going to be the way that we're going to get in front of people, because soon everything's going to be pre-screened. You're going to show up as a telemarketer. The phone is not going to be on that first call as important. You're still going to have to connect with the seller, though. And when you connect with them, you're going to need to know what to say. Every other resource is just a resource to get you either in front of them or for you to get on the phone with them and have a phone call. So as you're setting your mousetrap, you've got to think about what would get that seller to call me back. Okay? I'm going to talk about that here in a second. All right. So we got the tech. All right. So step 3, be first. If you're not first, you're last. Okay. So what time should you be calling expireds every morning? The answer to that is as early as possible that you feel you're going to get yelled at. Okay. For us, that is 7:45 every morning. I know people that are calling at 7 a.m. I know people that are calling at 6 a.m. I know people that are shooting a text at 6 a.m. saying, hey, good morning. This is Susie with XYZ Real Estate. Couldn't believe that your property came off the market this morning. I was actually shocked. I would love to talk to you about, I would love to talk to you. I have a buyer for your home. Give me a call. Okay. That's, and they think that that's a non-threatening text. Are you going to tick some people off by doing that? Absolutely. But you're also going to hit gold because by 7:30, 8, 9 o'clock, the other competitive agents in your market are all going to be doing the same. Now, let me talk about how uncompetitive this really is, if that's a word. Non-competitive, right? Everybody goes, oh man, when I called that expired, they told me they already had 10 calls from 10 other agents. In our area, there's 19,862 agents. They got 10 calls. 10 out of 19,862. Because just like you're sitting here thinking, I'm going to call expireds tomorrow, then you don't. So is all of the other people. Right? Now, those people that are doing it at a high level, they're going to be very consistent and they're going to be calling every single morning. I used to work with an amazing agent when I was at Coldwell Banker. She was there clockwork. 6:30 every morning. She did an hour of role play and then hit the phones at 7:30. She sold about 100 homes a year. And she was doing it well into her 60, I think she was 68 when I last was there with her. Did it every day, 100 homes a year, making tons of money. That was her sole bucket of business, was those expireds. Okay? So just depends on that strategy that you're going to be looking at here. So you've got to be first, then you got to do your research. So when you're doing this at a high level, I would recommend having 2 screens. You're going to want to have 2 screens, and we're going to talk about some other tech things that you're going to want here in a second, right? Eliminate all distractions. This isn't something that you can do and have the kids running around and all of these things, which I know is difficult in COVID. Go huddle into a little closet, and just run the phone cord underneath. If you have still an old school phone, I don't know why you would do that anymore, but hide the phone underneath the thing. Hide in the closet and make the call. Okay. Recite affirmations. So we got to get our mindset right. This is a heavy amount of rejection you are about to receive. And some of you were not built for rejection because at some point when you were 11, you went to kiss a boy or a girl and they dissed you and said no. And ever since then, you've been screwed up in your head and you can't get past it. So I'm sorry that little Johnny didn't like you, but get over it, right? You're going to have to embrace rejection at the highest level to really enjoy this process. Every time somebody tells you to screw off, suck it, you're a vulture, you're a scumbag, you go, no. One more closer to 15 grand. That's all you're going to do. You just have to fall in love with just eating that nasty. And I just feel sorry for people. I'm like, you're screaming at me because your house came off the market. And it's rare. Let me talk about screaming at people. Are like, this sounds terrible. Out of all the calls, you might get some nasty person 1 out of 50. That's not a bad ratio. Now, if you suck and you call up, you go, hey, this is Brendan. I was just curious if you wanted to sell your expired listing. I'd love to come over and talk with you. You're going to get yelled at a ton because you suck and they don't want to talk to you and you're boring and you're going to get lit up. But if you're like, hey, this is Brendan. Oh my gosh, I saw you came off the market. Holy, what is, and you come with this high energy, they're going to be like, whoa. Where have you been my whole life? Ooh, okay. right? It's a different reaction. We're going to talk about that. So recite affirmations. Here's your number one expired listing affirmation. My next call is going to be my next appointment. My next call is going to be my next appointment. My next call is going to be my next appointment. That's it. That's it. That's it. Just saying it over while the dialer is going. My next call is going to be my next appointment. My next call is going to be my next appointment. It's all you're doing in your mind. Okay. And then headset, mirror, and scripts. If you were a carpenter, you would have a tool belt, a hammer, a screwdriver, and I don't know what else because I can't do anything. I'm worthless when it comes to that. But you would have tools. As a real estate professional, you need to have these tools. A headset is required if you're a salesperson. You need to be able to type with two screens, because one screen's going to have your dialer on. The other screen, when you get somebody connected, it's going to pull up Google. It's going to show you the outside of their home. I'm going to talk to you about all these strategies. And you literally are watching these two things. Is this going to be comfortable day one? No. It's going to take you some days to get used to it. And I always talk about it. It's like that movie, The Matrix. All those little squiggly lines just start making sense after a while because you're so comfortable with it. Okay? So that's important. The mirror. We have to have a mirror because we need to be constantly checking our energy. We need to be, as cheesy as it is, I need to be smiling and energetic. Energy is everything when it comes to expireds. It's everything. And then obviously scripts and dialogues. You need to not sound like a jackoff so you can make these people understand that you're there to save them and you can take them to the finish line. You're going to need a script for that, especially in the beginning until you get comfortable. All right. And we're going to talk about those. So hot sheet, we talked about this. Set up it automatically, including reactivated listings. Pull this hot sheet every single morning. That's what we call it, a hot sheet. That's the hot stuff that's just come off the market. Okay. You're going to want to know what those are.
So, Brendan, play that out full speed. We had a couple of questions about I'm setting up my hot sheet. I go into the dialer and do that so I get the email notification. Can you kind of walk us through that process a little bit more?
Well, the dialer does it for you automatically. So the dialer does it for you automatically. But the problem that I've watched with agents is they'll go and pay for the dialer. And then if you don't log into the dialer, it doesn't work. So if you set up the hot sheet, surprise, right? So if you set up the hot sheet in MLS, it's going to email you every morning all of those latest listings. Now, unless you don't check your email, which some of you agents don't, right? But if you don't check your email, then that's the only way you wouldn't be able to know what came off the market. So you should be looking at that. So I like to have it I like it both ways. I like it in my inbox and I like it in my dialer. Okay. But in the dialer, it'll organize all of this for you. And then on the next day, when property's relisted, okay, so let's say they relisted, the dialer will do its best to update those so you don't call a property that just relisted with either the previous agent or a new agent, because nothing is worse than calling them and going, we listed with Susie 2 weeks ago. Why are you calling me? They get real ticked off when they've relisted. Right?
And is there another way to just check to make sure that they're not under contract, right? Maybe there's this very fine line between is it expired or under contract? Can you speak to that as well?
Yeah, the dialer tries to do, again, it's best to sort that out. It runs an algorithm that tries to sort this data. It is not perfect. Believe me, there will be holes in this and you will get you'll get an agent that calls back and be like, why are you calling my client? I relisted this 2 days ago. I'm so sorry. My dialer didn't, or my program didn't update it. I apologize. As soon as they told me they relisted with you, I wished them the best. I told them you were such a sweetheart and they were lucky to have you, right? Expired game is still support your community. You don't want to be this, Anna says I can't say douchebag anymore, but I'm going to say it anyway. You don't want to be this douchebag that is calling up and you're snaking other people's listings, or you're just being this scummy person. All you're trying to do, and it's a mindset thing, is you're going, look, these people came off the market. I'm a great real estate agent, or I'm working on being one. I believe I can help them. Let me take a shot at this and do that. It's not always a perfect system, though. There's going to be some times where people were under contract. There's going to be some times where the algorithm's so far off that they sold 2 months ago. They'll be like, we're not expired, we're sold, bro. And you're like, congrats, how do you like the new house? Oh, it's okay. Well, excellent. Hey, the other thing I do with a lot of my clients is I help them build wealth through real estate. Do you own any investment properties? I just take that lemon and make lemonade, right? That's all you can do. Every single call, there's an opportunity to make a new client if you look at it. A lot of us go, oh, I'm so sorry. Ooh, you hang up. Every single person I talk to, I'm doing a check down. Can you build wealth through real estate? Yeah, I know you just bought it. I have a client right now with our team. They bought the house 2 months ago, realized that they didn't want to live in the place, and they're selling. People sell within 2 months of buying a place. Happens all the time. So how do you like the place? Oh, it's great. All right, then great. If you don't like it, let's sell it. Okay. So yeah, it's a great question. All right, so hot sheet every single morning. Oh, Anna, tell us what this slide is about.
Well, we wanted to just take a moment and ask you guys, if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, I'm going to pop a link in the YouTube or in the comment box for you guys to go ahead and do so. If you like Brendan talking about dialers and want to learn more, we have a video on real estate affirmations and so much more. So I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the chat box. Go ahead and subscribe today, and we'll keep moving.
Thank you, Anna. All right. So expired psychology, we talked about the mindset. They're discouraged. They're hesitant. They think we're all the same. They want answers. They think they can sell it for a lower cost, and all sellers think their house is special. Okay. So as we look at some of these psychological pieces of this, we've got to prep ourselves for when we start to make these calls to understand, how can I find out what the pain point is, and can I solve their pain point? And everybody has different pain points. Sometimes it was the fact that they didn't like the agent. They didn't like what they did. They didn't like their marketing. I hear all the time, they didn't do anything. They never called me. All they kept asking me to do was drop the price, but they wouldn't drop their commission. Okay. You're going to hear these types of things, and we're going to talk about how to do that, but you have to make sure you go into every person understanding there's going to be a frustration level there. And can I find out what the pain is? Can I do the diagnosis? And then can I prescribe to them a solve to get them to where they want to go? All right. So step 4, we gotta use a script, right? So if you're not used to using a script or comfortable, go to brendanbardick.com. We have our entire script book for free. Leverage it, utilize it. Google expired scripts. If you don't like my script, get a script that you like. They're all designed for one reason. The good ones are designed. I used this one and I tweaked this for years to get it the way I wanted it to be, was to have a rhythm of the conversation that leads to the conclusion of an appointment. That's all a script is. It's a rhythm. Boom, 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 appointment. Boom, 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 appointment. Okay? That's where people get screwed up. They're like, well, that doesn't sound like me. That doesn't matter. Unless you've got a better plan on how that's going to get you there, this is designed to get you to the end point, which is the appointment. Right? Now, expireds, unlike most people you talk to, you want to stay on the phone for a long time and build this large level of rapport. Expireds, it's get in, get out, and try to get them and meet them in person. So the rhythm has to be 6 questions, 5 questions, whatever script you're going to use. Bam, 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 appointment. And one of the pro tips that I'll give you on setting the appointment is at the end, don't ask, hey, well, don't try to give them your contact info. You want to set the appointment, and then they're going to be so confused because this happens so fast that when you show up tomorrow at 2:00, they're like, I knew that you were coming. I forgot your name. I was going to call you back to cancel because we, had other plans. What? Cancel? I'm already here. Do you mind if I look at the home? Right? You're already going to be there. It's literally, give me a chance. I've had so many sellers tell me, you know what? I ended up talking to somebody else. I think I'm going to list with them. You know what? I already did this. If I'm at your front door looking as chipper and energetic as I do, you're going to let me in. You let me in, it's over. That's how I look at every listing. You give me 5 minutes, you will be signing with me. I just need to get through that door. And people get repulsed by that. They're like, Jesus Christ, Brendan, you're crazy. Like, would you chill out? It's like, no, because this is a game changer. It's a life changer. Okay? People can tell you, I would love to, I'll probably bring on somebody to interview here soon that was back with me in my earlier days. They would go, he would just lock himself inside. And I had literally a broom closet of an office. I just needed a place to make calls. And I would light these things up all day, every day, go out on appointments and make $1 million in less than 12 months. Tell me what other world you can do that. I don't know. I don't know of it, right? So I do get very passionate about it because that's how deeply, I know it's a game changer. You can do major things when you're making $1 million a year, year after year. A lot of things. But you have to get through the front door. If you don't get through that door, that chance never happens. Now, there's a lot that you got to be really good at once you get through that door, which we teach in our listing mastery series, but you got to get through that door. That's the biggest piece. Okay? So just remember that you're not on the phone to try to make connections and conversations. You're on the phone to make appointments. And if you're looking at your 2021 goals, you know, hey, I need to sell 50 houses. I need to go on 100 appointments because 50% of the time, either I'm not going to take them or they're not going to take me. So all I need to do is hit 100 appointments. I sell 50 houses. I make $600,000. Life is good. Okay? But you got to get through the door. All right. So with that script, and we're looking at that script, shameless promos. When we're looking at that script, right? When you're looking at that, remember the first two big important pieces about the script are the beginning and the end. I've got to get opener. So hi, I'm looking for Susie. Hey, Susie, this is Brendan with XYZ Real Estate Company. Hey, I noticed this morning that your property came off the market and I'm actually shocked. I was calling this morning to still see if you were interested in selling the property. They're either going to say, I am or I'm not. Now, here's the critical piece of this. This is probably the price of admission of free for you coming to this. Here's the most important piece of that expired script. If it's a no, here's what I use as my ejection. I call it the truth qualifier. It's literally a lie detector test. Okay, so you have no interest. So I have a cash buyer right now that's completely interested in making you a cash offer on the property. So if the terms were right, it was a cash offer, would you still have any interest in selling? That's the lie detector. Now, do you have a cash buyer? Yes, of course you do. Me, I will buy the house for cash, unless it's in Detroit. I don't like Detroit. I'm not going to buy any houses there. But most areas, I will buy the house. Your broker will buy the house. Somebody with money will buy the house. Your crazy Uncle Joe with the lazy eye, he'll buy the house. Somebody out there will buy the house. So you always have a cash buyer. But I need to figure out if is there a condition or an objection? All right, a condition means I can't sell the house. So here's a condition. My husband had brain surgery yesterday. He can't move more than 6 inches in the entire home. He can't allow to have anyone in here that could possibly infect his brain surgery. That's a condition. Could I still get past it? Maybe. It would be difficult. I would try, but it's going to be a tough one to get past. An objection is, you know what? Yeah, we're just really tired of the whole selling process and we want to wait. Or we want to wait until after COVID, or we want to wait until all of these things, or whatever it is. Okay? So we've got to first find out, are they serious about selling? If they say, yes, we're still interested. Yeah, I'm still interested. Great. Now we go into the next part, which is I have to diagnose the situation, right? So just like the doctor, I got to figure out what happened, what went sideways. So, why do you think you didn't sell? That's what matters, is why they think they didn't sell, not what you think, why they think they didn't sell. Okay. Then close at the end of it. So great. I've got all this information now. Perfect. So at the end there, so I'd love to come over and explain the aggressive approach that I take to get homes sold. I'll be in your neighborhood today at 4. Does tomorrow at 1 o'clock work better for you? And if you see how animated I am on this Zoom, this is how I am when I make calls. I use hand gestures when I'm talking to people because it emphasizes, and I can downswing and all the neurolinguistic processing, right? Looking at these things, it's just to create that level of excitement. It's like a crescendo. It's like, oh, and then the glass breaks. That's what I'm trying to do when I'm on that phone call, right? And then they hang up and they go, who did I just talk to? What? Oh, well, I guess this guy's coming over tomorrow too. Whatever. All right. That's how powerful it is when you take them on that and then get off. Okay? If you hang around on the phone every minute that you're on there longer than enough to set the appointment, they're going to rethink, oh, you know what? I should call Susie and give her another chance. Oh, I didn't ask my husband. I didn't ask my wife. I didn't ask my significant other. You know what? On second thought, let me give you a call back. It's ba 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 ba, boom, and I'm out. Okay? Take this seriously. Play it at a high level. I always make this joke. Think about it as Shakespeare in the Park. Put on your hat. You're going, your little fluffy Shakespearean hat, and you're going into full-on actor mode. You aren't this real person in real life, and that's okay. You're putting on a performance, and this performance is worth $1 million a year. $1 million a year performance, but it's not who you are in real life, right? I'm not, well, yes, I am this amped most of the time, but in real life, I'm a little less amped, okay? But I got to bring this level. All right? Anna, what is this?
Well, now that we've gotten you to the door of the appointment, know what to do once you walk in. With Brendan's complete listing system, we've extended our holiday sale so you can access it for 50% off using the code WINTER50. And I will go ahead and drop that link in the chat box for everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, and that'll show you what to do once you get to the door, right? Or once you've gotten into the house, and now what do you do next to make sure you walk away with the signatures? So it's very important. Okay. Step 5, we need to block, don't handle, right? So when we're talking about this, anytime we're dealing with an expired, and some of you have seen this in previous webinars, I really want you to think about this concept of objection blocking and not objection handling. If I can address all of their concerns and neutralize them and take them from a state of frustration to a state of happiness, it's going to be that much easier for me to get signatures. And they're going to be that much more happy with the entire process. But at the beginning, they're going to have a high level of resistance, and I need to address their pain points to get past those. So at the end, I get the signature. And usually with an expired, those pain points are going to be a number of things, okay? Commission, right? It's going to be a big one. Price is going to be huge. And the time frame. Because time frame, they're not going to trust realtors anymore. They're going to say, I only want to give you a 30-day chance, whatever. But I'm not going to spend another 6 months like I did with Susie Schmuckface, right? I'm only going to give you 30 days, right? So it's going to be a time frame objection, commission objection, or pricing objection. Now, the other way we talk about time frame could also be, I want to wait until a certain time frame to put the home back on the market, all right? So if you know this going in, all you need to do is make sure that you address these before they have to vocalize them. Okay? So if you're talking about price, so, Brendan, thanks for calling me. You know what? The big problem is my agent didn't care that I had to get 500,000. They kept telling me to reduce it to 450. I have to have $500,000 to move, period, end of story. So if you think you can sell it for 500, come on over. Okay, that's going to be a pricing objection. When we get there, we have to take them from crazy town to really realistic land, right? And we're going to do that by doing a powerful market analysis, explaining them to where I've had so many expireds that I've taken over that it was all about pricing because the agent never gave them a powerful CMA and just told them that they think they should sell it at this point, but there was no logic behind it. So of course the seller was like, screw you, I'm not going to lose 50 grand of my equity that I spent my entire life making so you can get a quick commission check. That's why presentation of CMA and market analysis is so vital, because you have to solve, especially with expireds, you have to solve the pricing issue. Okay. With expireds, it's rare that it's commission based. So they rarely are going to have a huge fight about your commission. They already decided to pay commission to somebody else. That's why it's such a beautiful thing. They already decided to use a real estate agent and they decided to pay a commission. They just had the wrong person. Or it was the wrong fit for both parties. You're the right fit. Okay? So think about how to block the objections, not just try to handle them at the end. Okay? So step 6, be first and be last, right? So when we're looking at step 6, so contacted, not ready. So now to have a true strategy for this, okay, we talked about text, email, the 6 days, and then the 7th day we rest, and then once a week for the rest of their life. So to see a highly evolved, expired system, I always go back to a gentleman I used to work with at Coldwell Banker. This was years and years ago. He's no longer in the business, but his name was Rick Perlante. And this will date me, but Rick Perlante used to run the MLS every single morning, run the hot sheet every single morning. Then he had a VHS tape that he would mail to every expired to explain. It was a 6-minute long VHS. You'd pop it in and he'd be like, "Hi, I'm Rick Perlante, and I'm going to show you why I can sell your house and why the other people couldn't sell your house." And it was a 6-minute infomercial on VHS. The little sticker on it had Perlante Group on it. And I would be in the office, and again, 35 of these a day, right? And he'd have like his note card in there. It would look, every shelf, he would always have the mail shelf. They would come in these big buckets because they would have at least 35 of these heavy VHS tapes that he was sending to every seller, every single expired. Okay? Every expired seller he was sending this to every day. He knew that the cost of every package he sent out was $10. Let's just make an easy number. Probably was a little bit more than that, but I'll just say $10, right? So he goes, okay, I'm going to spend $300 a day. Think about that number, 30 a day, which is hypothetically, right? So $300 a day he's spending on this system, okay? 30 days a month, right? So he's spending thousands of dollars because he knows with that amount of that he's sending out, he's going to list and sell 4 of them a month. So he's going, I'm going to spend $5,000 to make 50. And he did. He was the number one agent for years doing that exact strategy. Okay? So it's just at what level you're going to play. Now you say, "Brennan, I don't have $300 a day to spend on it." You will over time if you want to play that route. But if you don't have the ability to spend money right now, here's the pro tip that I'll give you. If you don't have the time to spend, or you don't have the money to spend, what you do have that a lot of other people don't is the time. So Rick didn't have the time to go door knock every one of these. Now, here's a door knocking tip too. If you're going to go door knock and they don't answer, I always get this question: what should I leave? Just a little yellow sticky note on their door or wherever you think that they're going to be able to see it that says, "I have a few questions about your home. Can you please give me a call?" and your phone number. You're not going to drop off a package with your business card and all your amazing fluff and whatever it is. Okay? Remember the logic and the psychology of the seller. What's going to make me dial the phone? If I see that all your junk that you're a realtor, right in the trash. If I don't know why I need to call you, maybe it's my neighbor. Maybe I left my garbage can out too long. Maybe I don't know, right? Oh, that party I had 2 days ago, I really pissed off the neighbors. Damn it. Okay? I have to call the number. You're on the other end. So let curiosity drive it. That's a big piece of this. Okay? Let the curiosity drive this. All right? So if you don't have the money, use the time. Now, here's the strategy. Write these things down. Here's what I want you to do. You want to start selling a bunch of expireds? Here's your strategy. Okay? It's as simple as I can say it. Call consistently every morning at 7:45 or earlier a.m., depending upon how much you want to get yelled at. Period. End of story. That's piece number 1. Calling is still effective. Number 2, text message. Okay? I gave that text sample. Don't overcomplicate it. Shorten to the simple. The text could also be, "Hey, can you give me a quick call? I had a few questions about your home." That's the text. Not, "This is Susie with XYZ Real Estate." Not, "This is this. Not, "This is anything else." Shoot that text. Then 7 minutes later, here you go. Came for the good stuff. 7 minutes later, you're going to send what we call a nudge text. This is a powerful text. 7 minutes later, you send them another text going, "Hey, I just wanted to make sure you got my previous text." Think how dumb this is, but how good it works. Right? They're going to be like, "Oh, so sorry, I was super busy. I got your text." It's human nature. We're programmed as humans to be polite. We can't help ourselves from doing it. Little 60-year-old, 70-year-old, 80 or 90-year-old, I don't know, Susie grandma is going to be sitting there. She's going to be like, "Oh, oh my gosh, I missed the text. Let me go. Oh yeah. Okay. She'll text you back. Nudge text 7 minutes later. Then, so you've got call to text, email goes out, email says the same thing. Hey, just had a few questions about your home. Now your signature line is going to be on there. They're going to know you're a realtor. Now, our plan is to provide options. So we teach this in our advanced courses or courses in our elite group coaching environment. But with our elite group coaching clients, what we teach them is our 4 different programs. Sell it in 60 days or I'll buy it. Instant cash offer. Okay, that's another option. Fix and list, right? We fix it up. We take on the cost, put a lien on your property, list it, get you more money. Or our traditional program. People like options because their previous agent didn't have any. So I send them an email labeling those 4 options, get a ton of response from it. Okay. 3 o'clock that day, they receive another email. Hey, just wanted to make sure you received my previous email. I really, really would like to talk to you about your home. Be the one that's more aggressive. 5 o'clock, you're calling them again. 5:30 maybe, because maybe they were at work and they got home. Okay. Now, if you automate this through your CRM, your Boomtown, your Real Geeks, your Command, your whatever your company has, if you're leveraging these types of things, you set up workflows to do all of the text and emails for you automatically. All I do is I press one button. I still have to make the phone call physically. Everything else is automated and time-based and sets it out. Did it suck to set that up? Yes. I lost probably 2 or 3 Sundays having to set up this entire thing. And my program goes 2.5 years out. 3-ish, but it depends on which one we're using. Okay. So you're building out the entire future of that. Next day, they get a text and an email. Then 2 days from there, they get a text and an email. 4 days, they get a text. 5 days, they get another email. 30 days, they get another text. It goes on until they either say, Brendan, come list me, or boop, whatever they're going to say. They tell me to do the other thing, which I don't want to hear, which is screw off. Okay? That's what the strategy is when you're playing at a higher level, right? None of that costs a lot of money. Now, the direct mail, you can add to that as well. So that direct mail goes out that day. Here's another cute idea that I won't take credit for, but these guys up in North Dakota, they have a pop-up mailer that when you open this mailer, it pops up into 2 dice, like dice that are like little box paper, and they go poof, and it says on the message, don't roll the dice on listing your property with just an average agent again. That's marketing. And they go, at first it scared the heck out of people, and a lot of people were ticked off at us, but he goes, when we would call them, they'd be like, oh, that dice thing scared the crap out of me. Man, that was pretty creative. And they would go, we got your attention. Think about how we're going to get the buyer's attention. Each mailer, $9, right? Probably $8 or $9 to have it, the origami go boop and pop out in your hands and have a stroke, right? But that's marketing, doing what those other people won't to have what other people want, right? So now the rest of this, tag expired and CRM haven't met once 8x8 is complete. So an 8x8 is just 8 touches in 8 weeks. That's all 8 times 8 means. You might hear this a lot in real estate. You put them on an 8x8, 8 touches, 8 weeks. Then you add them to your 33 touch possible system if you're going to go that route, or a 1x12, or whatever amount of touches you think is necessary to get them to respond. Some of this you're going to beta test. Certain things are going to work, certain things aren't going to work. When you don't get a response to certain things, you tweak it. You're going to try this out. It's $1 million a year. It's going to take a little tweaking. Agents won't spend the time to set it up. You can. Okay? It's not rocket science. It's all there. There's a YouTube video explaining how to do it step by step. Everything is there for you. You just have to make the decision that you're going to do it. Okay? So, in closing, think about it. Remember, learning without implementation is stupidity. So action changes things. Write down or put in the chat box, after learning all of this, what's one thing you're going to do? I'd love to see it in the chat box. Is it that you're just going to start the hot sheet? Is it that you're going to share a Mojo account or buy your own, RedX account? Are you going to try Vulcan 7? Are you going to door knock? Here's another thing. What if you committed in 2021 to door knock one expired a day. So if you're still going to the office, on your way home, you hit them up. If you're at home, you're going to find the one closest to your house. Think about, here's the absolute laziest that you could be, is you look at your computer and you go, all right, there was these 30. The closest expired to my house is exactly 6.4 miles away. That's the one I'm going for. And you drive out and you go and nail that one. You just did that. It took 20 minutes once a day. Think about that. 20 a month you would hit if you're taking weekends off. And speaking of weekends, when is the best time to call an expired lead? Yes, you are correct. Saturday and Sunday. Not because more people answer the phone, because less agents will take the time to do it. So your competition drops by 90% because no one else will get off their butt to make the call. Okay? So that's it. And then again, the biggest days of the year, the first of the month. The first of the month has almost triple the amount of expireds than any other day because a lot of people will list it until the end of a month. They'll be like, all right, yeah, let's just list till the end of January 1st. Well, let's just list until March 1st. So if you just put those 12 calendar days set in stone that you're going to call on the first of the month, you might strike gold. Now, if you don't employ a deeper strategy and you don't get better at this, it's hard to build up that rapidity. It'd be like this. If I wanted to go play Major League Baseball once a month, would I be very good at hitting the ball? Probably not. It's the same thing. It's a muscle. You got to learn that muscle memory. So think about that. So I hope that was helpful. That is everything I can give you about expireds in a 1 hour window. As Anna said, there's plenty of other things to learn. Nothing would make our hearts, flutter more than you subscribing to the channel. We just want to help more people, let them understand that this is possible for anyone to do. This doesn't take any special skills, doesn't take any special, degrees. You can just do this. You just have to start small and build up and believe in it and come with a strategy. What'll happen is you'll jump on, you'll make the first 3 or 4 calls, you won't have success, and you'll never do it again. That's the best part about this. So will everyone else.